Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gimme 5 book reviews and author interviews, where we introduce readers to inspiring authors and explore their stories, ideas, and experiences behind their books. Today, I'm delighted to welcome poet and author Michael Teferi. Originally from Ethiopia, Michael was born in Washington, D.C., and grew up throughout the Washington metropolitan area, including D.C., Arlington, and Alexandria, Virginia. Through his poetry, Michael seeks to inspire readers to embrace personal growth, pursue their dreams with confidence, and cultivate a deep sense of belonging and connection with others. He is the author of 3 poetry collections: Transformation, a journey of creating one's life anew; Connection, enjoying and appreciating life fully; and Phenomenal, being who one is born to be. And a 4th book is currently in development. His work blends inspiration, spirituality, self-discovery, and personal empowerment, encouraging readers to become their best selves while building stronger connections in the world around them. I'm so honored to have Michael on our show today, so let's dive in. Michael is officially my very first poet on this channel, so let's go. Hey, welcome to the show, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. Where in the world are you?
I am in Manassas, Virginia, here in the United States.
Fantastic. Well, we want to get to know you a little bit before we dive into your books. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so the man behind the poetry. Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey growing up in Washington, D.C. area.
Sure thing. Yes, my name is Michael Teferi, and I grew up with my Ethiopian family in Washington, D.C. It's my hometown, and I was born there. The Community Hospital for Women is where my mother was born into me at the hospital, and I learned about that years later about that prospect. And my father was there as well. So it was my mother and my father that brought me together, and my family immigrated to Ethiopia from Washington, D.C., and so I stayed with my mother's side of my family, and I continued. I used to live in a house. I don't remember where the house was. It was I forgot because I was too young. I was a baby at the time, so we had a large house with some family members together living in multiple rooms and things of that nature. And I was born into the world, and I was very happy-go-lucky. I learned that I was very into crawling up the stairs, just having fun, good times. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. And years later, I had a chance to watch Wheel of Fortune in Jeopardy with my aunt, with my mother, and she used to have me watch Wheel of Fortune to learn the alphabet. That's how I learned the alphabet, if you can imagine that.
Wow, what a great place to learn the alphabet, turning the letters over. Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it very much. It was hilarious. It was good times, past Jack and Vanna White, you know how it is. And so, yeah, I learned that much I was in the 80s. I was born in 1982, so I was they were definitely in the 80s. I was definitely an 80s child. And so I continued going forward, and then I went to kindergarten at Brightwood Elementary School in Washington, D.C. And I had Mrs. Hager, who was my kindergarten teacher. And she was very sweet, very open-minded, and very helpful to me. And it was very interesting because I got to connect with a lot of others, babies, because I was just as young as everybody else, as you can imagine. And so it was It was very interesting about learning how to draw. That was my first time learning how to draw as a child. I didn't expect to be a drawer at all. And the one thing is, I remembered they asked me, what do I want to be when I grow up? And I said, I want to be a doctor. That was my aunt. That was my mother's choice. She invited me to pursue that dream at the time. So that was going to be my opportunity years later, as you can imagine, because I was in kindergarten.
A few years have passed since then.
Yeah,
Wow,
no
that's fun
question.
that you remember your kindergarten teacher's name. I don't think I have a report card my mother saved, but other than that, I don't remember. So, hey, Michael, when did you first discover your love for poetry?
Yes, that was in ninth grade in elementary school, in high school, actually. I had an English teacher who was really involved and with her classmates and myself. We started learning about the art of poetry. We specifically started talking to us about the classic and modern poetry authors and the poet laureates. That's how I first learned about the art of poetry. And then she asked us to start reading poetry books. And so I became like a sponge. I started looking at the local library here at school, and then I started reading all the about the poetry authors that I could find, about learning about them, and it was a really enjoyable feature, just learning about poems and what it's like, and the different authors who create them, and it was very interesting to me, and I started enjoying them fully, and then afterwards, well, afterwards, she asked us to create our first poem as a writing assignment. So that's when I created my first poem. I had to put I wrote it up as a writing assignment, and that's how I started.
Wow, thank goodness for English teachers, huh? Because you never know. I mean, teachers are such great influences on our lives. And for
Yeah.
her to start teaching poetry and for you to take to it so well like that and then do your own research and learn more and more and more, that just speaks volumes of that natural innate talent that you have. And here's a little side note, you're my very first poet on this channel. So, wow,
I
number
didn't know that.
one.
I
Yeah.
love it. I'm an original. I love it.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
So,
Thank you so much.
Michael, was there a particular moment or an experience that inspired you to become that writer, to write your first book? What journey was?
That's a good question. So what happened with me is I started writing. I started writing a poetry author by the name of the poet laureate, the infamous poet laureate Maya Angelou, and she was a really amazing poet laureate, and I remember knowing her from the past, and she had different poems, and I got the complete poetry by Maya Angelou as a book. And so I started reading all about her poems, and I started engaging in them. And it reminded me of how why can't I be a poet? Why can't I be a poet myself? So that was her. She was my inspiration, to be honest.
That's awesome. So, how has your Ethiopian heritage influenced your perspective on life and creativity?
I see. I always, from the moment I was very young, I was really into music, and so I used to listen to Ethiopian music, and I used to have wedding videos that we would get from the photographers. So we would get them sent down. We would go to different weddings and wedding receptions and stuff like that, and we would talk to the photographer and we asked for if we would get a piece of a wedding video so we can have it at home for us to remember them out. So I still remember uh, uh, different wedding videos of my uncles. I have a couple of uncles who are married, and so I got to attend their weddings and their wedding receptions and having lots of fun and things of that nature. And so I got the chance to watch them at home. I remember doing that as a child and as a growing up. I remember doing that. They would show them with me, and it was my other family members who would watch them together. So my grandmother, my mother especially would watch them together with me, and I would enjoy them fully. It was a beautiful occasion. every so
Wow.
often. Yeah, I got to do that.
Definitely experiences like that help to shape and transform us as we move forward in life. So that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
So, Michael, they often say that poetry comes from deep reflection. What inspires your writing most today?
That's a good question. I would say what inspires me most is that I would say life experiences. Yeah, so I've had a lot of life experiences with friends. Starting in high school, I got the chance to hang out with friends, and when I started going to college as well, I got the chance to go to uh, concerts. I enjoyed going to concerts with friends, and it was an amazing, it was those amazing occasions. I got to get a chance to go to different concerts, and I get to enjoy those, and it reminded me of how much I love music with a passion. And music, singing, dancing, and concerts are definitely passions of mine. I still to this day I continue that. Um, yeah, nowadays I haven't been to concerts lately, but I listen to music on YouTube Music the app and the iHeartRadio app, and so I just listen to music in my spare time. It's really enjoyable.
And music is very poetic too, as well. The lyrics and how they flow together and come back to the chorus and everything. So that makes sense that you would identify with music a lot and it would inspire you as well. So, Michael, are you ready to dive into your books?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about the first book. Let's explore that. So, Transformation. So, your debut collection is titled Transformation: A Journey of Creating One's Life Anew. What inspired this title?
It's a good question. I thought about the idea of transformation, a journey of living one's life anew, because it reminded me of the opportunity to create to create oneself. What it means is specifically the idea of there's this one music band called Incubus. It was a rock alternative band that I learned about back in high school. And I was listening, my friend Kareem introduced me to rock alternative music. So I started listening to, I found about the band. I started watching their music videos on MTV and VH1. And I got their music album called Make Yourself. It's called Make Yourself. And I thought that was a fantastic title to me. The idea of making oneself was an epic opportunity for me to engage in myself, and it reminded me of creating myself anew, myself, through the art of writing, listening to music, and so I thought about that as a way of transforming myself and who I am, and moving forward in the direction I care about. And so that's why I chose my poem, my first debut poetry.
The title to your book. Yeah. And that's so true, Michael. We're the author in our own lives. So we're constantly writing the own script, through our choices and our decisions and the way we respond to life. So that's really great. I love that inspiration for that title. So the book, Michael, focuses on inspiration, personal growth, and spirituality. Why were these themes important for your first collection?
That's a good question. So for me, I love the opportunity to inspire people. Inspiration, it's one of my personal philosophies. It's called inspiration, realization, and action. I created that personal philosophy years ago. And I thought about the idea of inspiring people to no end, to realize their dreams, and take action upon unique things that are unique upon yourself. And so that's what I thought about. I thought about inspiration and self-help. It reminded me of the psychology titles in Barnes and Noble. So I read a lot of different psychology books from Barnes and Noble, from different psychologists that I know about. And so based on my time in college, and Georgia University. And so I thought the idea of ensuring that I could have my poetry be an inspiration to other people.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. And when I think of transformation, I always think of the butterfly, you know, going from the little egg to the little caterpillar and into the cocoon and then breaking out with the wings. So that always is kind of my symbology for transformation. But what does transformation mean to you personally?
Yeah, transformation. It means, for me, it means that I can move forward in the direction I care about with a genuine extra dose of meaning, purpose, and conviction. It reminds me of being able to do the best I can with what I have, to grow and develop into a newer version of myself on purpose. And I love the sound of that. And I want to do that with the life I have to lead.
Awesome. And you know, I feel that humans in general, resist change. They have a hard time and they struggle with it. So many of our readers struggle with change, and people in general, I struggle with it. What advice would you offer someone going through a difficult transition?
Yeah, so difficult transitions, I've been through them myself. So I know what it means. I know what it's like to go through difficult transitions in my own life too. So what I do is that I recognize that change happens throughout life. There are different ways of going through different kinds of change, and it reminds me of how there are different kinds of change. For example, there are different seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. You know about them. We go through them as life comes to as it goes through, and we go through them. And there are things that you can, if you're interested, there are things that you can like about it, or there are things you might not like about it. But you can always recognize them as you are turn around, because it comes every year. Every course of the year, you can see the different kinds of seasons that they come to pass. So you can remember, just like you can have different seasons, you can have different ways of being within yourself, and that's how I do it.
I like that you use the seasons, Michael. I think that's very profound, because I often think about the deciduous trees in the fall when they're losing their leaves. You know, it's like they in the springtime they open up these new leaves. It's a new start, everything, and they carry those leaves. And then in the fall they just let it go. And if more people would just let their past go and focus on the present moment, that would be a great change there, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's I always do that. I take purpose in the present moment. It's very mindful of myself. I do that on purpose.
Absolutely. So were there any poems in this collection that were particularly emotional or meaningful for you to write?
Yeah. So there's this one poem called "Someone Like You." I created that one when I was in college originally, but then it was inspired. It was an inspiration because there was a lady that was in my life that I really liked at the time. And so it reminded me of her. She was it was an opportunity to get connected with her, and so I was reminded of connecting with her and seeing what it would be like to be with her. But that life has times where it works out or it doesn't work out. So it didn't work out for me, but that's okay. What matters is that you still get to have poetry, and you still get to enjoy different kinds of moments. And that's what matters to me.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's I think it's Buddha that says, if you have no expectations, you have everything. So if we just allow life to flow and we don't attach an outcome that we're hoping for, then we won't be disappointed if it doesn't turn out that way, but just enjoy the experience, right?
That's good. Oh, that's an excellent saying. It's an excellent saying from Buddha. I like that. Very nice.
So
I
Michael,
love that.
wrapping up the first book, what are some lessons that you hope readers would take away from reading Transformation?
Yes, so I feel like it's an ideal situation when you get to transform in your own life. You get to learn about yourself and grow within yourself and go deep within your homes with your heart and spirit and your own soul, and see what matters to you, what your thoughts and values and opinions that matter to close to you, and these and have respect for yourself, and you can treat yourself as you see fit. That's what matters to me.
Ah, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Wow. So now I'm excited to jump into book number 2. So Connection, Enjoying and Appreciating Life Fully is your second collection called Connection. Why did you choose that theme as the next step in your writing journey?
Yes. So for me, what was really important to me was connection. I love the opportunity to connect with people, especially with inspired readers of my poetry. That's one of the things I want to accomplish going forward. And I love the opportunity to connect with others. It reminds me of my own life. I've always been involved with talking and getting to know people for who they are. I recognize people for who they are, what their values, thoughts, and opinions are, and what they stand for, the things that they care about, and the things that they value. And that's when you have similar values and opinions, it makes the most sense to me, and that's where I start. That's exactly
Wow.
how I start.
That's awesome, Michael. You know, I think that it's so rare to find an individual who doesn't come, you know, when they first meet somebody and start judging them, you know, oh, this person's tall or they're short or whatever, but just to accept them as they are, who they are, where they are, without those judgments, without that filter, those preconceived notions. That's amazing. We need more people like that. Thank you for that, Michael.
Yeah, well, welcome. Yeah, I'm a very non-judgmental person. It's very important to me. I was inspired initially by my mother. She was also very non-judgmental as well.
That's awesome. Great mom. So,
Thank you.
so in today's world, Michael, many people feel isolated despite being more connected digitally ever than before. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because I know what it's like. Because when I was first uh, coming to Birmingham nursing home, I was lonely because I didn't have my aunt anymore. You know, and she would come visit me every once a week, but it's only once a week. So I was like, what am I gonna do with my own life going forward? And so I had to start connecting with people. And so I had to talk to other people who work here. And over time, I became more extroverted, and so I got the chance to connect with the nurses more often, every single day. I'll talk to them in the morning, afternoon, and evening, when I have my before and after I had my meals, of course, and I started talking to the people who work here. They have separate offices here at the nursing home. So I started talking to them and getting to know them. And now is the perfect moment to bring up for myself. I thought it was very ideal to to learn from other people and to enjoy other people as they are. And and over time, a life experience, life happened to me fully, and I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's a good point. Life happened to you fully. So people who isolate out of fear, or maybe they just don't have the ambition, or they don't want to get involved. You know, I think COVID really, we saw a big backlash from that, people isolating more. And that
Yeah,
last statement, Michael, you know, you got out, you did it, you talked to people, you forced yourself out of that box to have a
yeah,
connection with people. And that genuine connection seems like it's super duper important. And I know it's important for all human beings. So good for you. Kudos
yeah.
to you for getting out there and pushing yourself to connect.
Yeah, it took a while. I admit, because COVID really messed me up because it took me a long time to because I was so stuck in at home. I couldn't do anything. I have a family, of course, but that was it. You know, I didn't have a phone. so I didn't have a landline, so I was to talk to friends, and so I had it was a long period of time where I didn't have any friendly people I could talk to, and so I had to eventually uh, move forward in the direction I care about later on, and eventually things subsided. And I started to really appreciate going out afterwards.
I can see where the second book, Connection, has a really deep meaning here, more than beyond that word. So that's amazing. So
Thank
how
you.
can people develop a stronger sense of belonging in their communities, in your opinion, Michael?
Yeah, and when it comes to belonging, I think it's important to activate with others. I think that's a really meaningful ideal, and I recognize that wholeheartedly. I do that in my own community here, and so for example, when my aunt and I go to she comes visits me. We go to different places. Like we go to Starbucks, and I always talk to my people I know the Starbucks. I talk to the manager and Kat, one of the ladies who works there, the barista, and we see each other practically every Saturday or Sunday, and I enjoy that process. It's a wonderful occasion. And then afterwards, we go to Walmart, and I started talking. Yeah, I talked to the people who are working who work at Walmart there, and I enjoyed that process because I'm starting to get to know people there. And so, and every 2 weeks, we go to Akazaka Sushi and Japanese Steakhouse. Yeah, I eat sushi and hibachi, soup and salads. Yeah, it's a wonderful occasion. And I got the chance to get to know the owner, and she's a wonderful lady. And the teller, the waiter, one of the waiters. I got the chance to know the waiters too, and I get to know them and see what they're about, and how they like Manassas, what it's like being here, and things of that nature. And I enjoy that prospect. It's pretty interesting. I enjoy that feeling.
That's wonderful. And I think it's so important that we do establish those connections with people. You have these different places that you look forward to going to, and seeing those people and interacting with them and building that bond. And that's so important for the human dynamic for sure. So is there a poem in Connection that best captures the message of the book for you?
That's a good question. I would say when it comes to connection, I would say let's give you an idea. I would say one of the nice poems that I like is called Individual. Yeah, it reminds me of being what it's like to be an individual in your own life, your own life that you lead, and I recognize that process. So I do that. I do that in my own life, and I know what it's like in my own life. And as an adult, that's what I do as well. I know what it's like in my own life. This means a lot.
Absolutely. And we are individuals. I think definitely I'm glad. A lot of people are glad that when they did the cookie cutter of me, they threw away the mold. It's like there's only one you, thank God.
That's good.
So Michael, what role does gratitude play in living a meaningful life for you?
Gratitude means it makes a world of difference in my humble opinion. I think it matters so systemically, actually. It means that you can be gracious about the people in your life, the people who have helped you, people who have inspired you, people who treat you the way they ought to be treated. Yeah, the golden rule. That's what matters to me. I love the golden rule.
The attitude of gratitude, right? So what you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on, oh, this always happens wrong over here, that's what's going to grow. But if you're focusing on gratitude, everything you have, being grateful for it, that's what's going to grow. So yeah, I agree 100%. Absolutely.
Nice. Thank you.
So now we're moving on to book number 3. So
Yes.
your third book, Phenomenal, Being Who One Is Born to Be, has a powerful title. So what inspired that title?
Yes. I thought about the idea of what it was like for me to be a phenomenal person. I thought of that to myself, and I was like, what would that mean to me? And so I thought about that as my third book title, because it's part of my trilogy. I thought it to myself, and so it reminded me of what it means to find find the essence of who I am, and to enjoy it fully, and to revel in it.
Fantastic.
That's what I thought about.
That's fantastic. Wow. So why do you think so many people struggle to embrace who they truly are?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because sometimes it's all about other people's expectations of themselves. Yeah, when you realize that you don't have to be involved in other people's expectations of you. You need to ensure take care of yourself and care about yourself more solidly about who you are and where you come from, what business you attain, what your thoughts, values, and interests are, and then you can see what times it comes to pass for yourself, and that's what I thought about.
Wow, I like that. And as you were talking about that, I was thinking of Jane Fonda, when a documentary, she was talking about how she showed up for people the way they needed her to be for their needs, but she never knew how to show up for herself, because she'd been showing up like, talk to me this way and be here on this, and how, all these constructs of what people told her how to be, so that when that went away and it was just her, she thought, who am I? How do I show up for myself? Because I've always been what everybody else wanted me to be. So that brings me to the next question, which is authenticity. So what does that mean to you?
Oh, authenticity means a big deal. Wow. So I would say authenticity means being authentic, being gracious with oneself, being understanding of who you are, where you came from, what matters to you, and everything that you care about fully. I think it matters when you're authentic, people naturally gravitate toward you. I think that's how it is.
Yeah, it's like a light, right? People want to know, why is that person shining brighter? What have they got that I don't have? And I want to keep feeling that, right? Yeah. So good point. Yeah. So how can readers overcome fear, self-doubt, or outside expectations?
That's a good question. I would say friendships. I would say being one with your friendships can make a big difference in your own life. That happened in my own life when I started going into high school. As just an example, I got to know a lot of people. I didn't have any cliques at all. It was just random people that I started connecting with, and I wanted to learn from them, get to know them, and they got to know me. As they got to know me, they know that I got a natural attraction, and it mattered so much to me. And we got to know each other, and I got to help people out as I got as an inspired leader in my own way, and I naturally gravitated toward others, and I was so much into helping people and serving others. And I was a strong active customer service background as well. Whenever I was in different pieces of employment situations, I was all about helping other people. So that's what I'm about.
I could see where you would be a real people person. Yeah, you have a very nice, calm demeanor, and you're very personable. So that would work well in the customer service, and not an easy job to have, that's for sure.
Yeah, I figure. Good point. Yeah, good point.
So, Michael, was writing the third book different from writing the first two?
Only a little bit. I mean, at that time I got so used to writing the first two books. I was ready and willing to write a third one as part of my trilogy. I love the rule of threes. It reminded me of it's my favorite number. 3 is my favorite number. And so I thought to myself, why can't I have a third book? And what does it mean to me to author it and to and be able with oneself around it and to integrate and to be integral toward one's being? And so that's what I thought about. And I want that to be promising for other people.
I like that. That's wonderful. So looking back, how have you grown personally through your process of writing this trilogy?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like I've grown beyond expectations right now. I'm not involved in other people's expectations of myself anymore. I have a newfound purpose in my life. My wife is to enhance people's lives by helping others to access their potential. That's my ultimate why. I created myself, my own volition, and I thought that was an infinite. I thought it was ideal to me, and it reminded me of when I first enjoyed that rock band Incubus, and that song, that album "Make Yourself." It reminded me of the opportunity to. There's a song about the idea of being infinitely interesting. I thought that was epic. When I first learned about that, I was like, yes, I'm gonna have that in my own life too. What does it mean to be infinitely interesting? That's what I thought about.
I like that, to be able to contemplate that for a while, because there's some people that are infinitely boring. So I'd much rather be infinitely interesting for sure.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I agree.
So moving forward now, Michael, your mission is to inspire readers to realize their dreams boldly. Why is that message so important right now in these times?
Yeah, I see it. It makes a big deal nowadays because there's a lot happening in the world around us and politics and other things that I don't focus on. I focus on inspiration and helping other people, and because that's a natural way of being, and that's how I surface. That's how I have a way of inspiring leadership, and so that's what I do. I have a leadership background nowadays. I found out that a few years ago after I graduated from college. I connected with the leadership coach, and she told me that I have leadership acumen. I thought that was wow, that was epic. Do I really? I didn't realize that about myself. And I felt like it reminded me of my grandfather because he was a brigadier general, head of state, and a lawyer. And so that guy, I think maybe it comes from it has a generational input background about myself. So I feel like I have leadership within me, and that's what I want to be.
That's awesome. Yeah, what a great goal. We definitely need our leaders out there, because someone's going to identify with one leader, and then that will be their teacher, and then the next leader, someone will identify with them. So good for you. That's awesome. And that she saw that in you, and I could see that too as well. So I agree. So Michael, what role does spirituality play in writing and your everyday life?
Yeah, I love spirituality. I pray every day to God, and I pray during my meals, and it's very important to me. It reminds me of prayer. It reminds me, and it reminds me of. I also meditate in every moment when I do my exercise routines. So I use prayer and my meditation aspects of my life, and I thought that's very meaningful to have spirituality and faith, and so that's why I consider myself one.
Have a good solid foundation. Good for you. So what do you hope readers will feel after finishing one of your books?
Ooh, good question. I want them to feel like they've enjoyed something new, something that they had never seen before, and something original. That's what I love authors to enjoy and appreciate. I want them to appreciate them for who they are, to appreciate who they are, and to enjoy the life they lead, and to create themselves and move forward in the direction they care about with genuine actually does have meaning, purpose, and for conviction. And I just want that for other people, and as well as and their friendships, the people in their lives that matter to them as well.
Wow, well said. Very powerful.
You can create a better world in that manner.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Well said. Thank you for that. So, Michael, how do you define success, not as an author, but as a human being?
Ooh, success. That's a good question. Well, I would say that success is about being excellent in your everyday life. I think I was inspired by that, uh, promoting excellence while I was at work. I had a wonderful job at the Office of Multi-Ethnic Student Education when I was helping college students as a program assistant for a couple of years. And it was it was raising excellence was a was a was wasn't just the title. It wasn't simply it was a motto. That's what it was. It was part of a model of beauty and excellence in one's everyday life. And I love that title, that opportunity to grow and move a beautiful version of oneself and be connected with other people as a collective. I love the opportunity of collectivism. It reminds me of the global humanitarian way of living.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, when I have been a former educator, when I'm teaching students, they're always so afraid to fail, what they feel fail. But
Mm,
I've tried to reframe that for them and say, there's no such thing as fail. There's try or not try, do or not do. So when
mm,
you're not doing and you're sitting on the bench and you're watching everybody else doing, that would be failing because you're failing to take action. You're failing to challenge yourself. And if you challenge yourself and you get out there and you fall on your face, you're still a success because you tried, right? So
mm.
yeah, I agree.
Absolutely right.
To me,
Nice.
it's like mediocrity, small changes and improvements every day leads you towards becoming a better human being for yourself and for others. So good for you. So
Yeah.
Michael, you're currently working on book number 4, the 4th book. Can you
Yes, I am.
share anything about what's coming next?
Sure thing. So I can easily tell you that my fourth poetry book is called Uniqueness, Loving Who One Is Meant to Be.
Oh,
Uh,
I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I created that title last month, and so I've been working on it every so often. I have actually have 27 poems so far. I'm doing pretty well so far in my collection, so it's coming along swimmingly. So just to let you know, this is about to finish. Almost done. If you can,
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. So these are just,
hey,
so is this going to be another trilogy or
yes, absolutely.
since you
I'm
like the
gonna have
number 3?
yes, I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna get a fifth one and sixth one. I'm looking forward to having a second trilogy. That's my plan of action.
Love it. So since you like the number 3 so well, can you describe your poetry in 3 words?
Inspiration, realization, and action. That's it. My personal
Beautiful wrap
philosophy
on
of
that.
life. It's my personal philosophy of life. I'll keep it at
Love
that.
it. So what's your favorite poem? Do you have one or they all coincide together?
Yeah, they could all coincide together. I don't have a favorite one right now.
Do
That's
you
okay.
have a favorite poet or a writer?
Mine too, though, definitely.
Ah, very good. So what
Yeah,
book is
I remember her favorite poem. It's called "Still I Rise." I love that poem.
what
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
epic. "Still I Rise."
Oh, Still I Rise. Ooh, I like
You can
that.
look it up. Look it up for yourself, and then you'll find it. It's right. You can easily look it up. It's easier to find.
I will do that. So morning writer or late night writer?
I'm definitely a morning writer. Yeah, I do that. I always do it in the mornings. I make sure because breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day, and so I make sure I eat good breakfast, and then afterwards I take my fresh medications, and then that's the first thing I do. I start Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are when I write my poems.
Yeah, me
I do it
too.
3 days a week. It's a rule of threes, 3 days a week.
Wow, good for
That's
you.
what I
That's
do.
awesome. Works for you.
Yeah, I
That's
do that on
awesome.
purpose. I created that. I created my own volition, my own accord to write 3 days a week of poems. I started doing that during the fall autumn season. That I started using delving into my intuition to write poetry. And that's how it's been.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Coffee, tea, or neither?
Tea, definitely. I'm
Tea.
not a coffee drinker at all. It's ironic because everyone in my family have been coffee drinkers. So, well, actually, what's interesting is that my aunt, she only drinks decaffeinated decaffeinated coffee, and it's ironic because my mother is such a big coffee drinker, and so I never drink coffee at all, but I always drink tea. She know my I've lately when I've gone to my aunt's house or apartment, she has teas also. So she has like ginger tea and lemon tea and green tea. And so I was like, please allow me to have one, please. Yeah, we've done that every so often. That's very nice.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what's one word you hope readers associate with your work?
Infinite.
Ah,
I love it. That's
I love it. Yeah, I do too. Perfect words. So many beautiful words out there, and that fits all three of them. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, Michael, what is one message you'd like to leave our audience with today?
Sure. I think I hope to have I can help connect with inspired readers of my poetry, that they'll enjoy reading and connecting with me and learning about me and learning about yourself. Most importantly, about your life, the life that you have to lead within yourself, and what's important to you. Talk about your values and beliefs, and to appreciate the love that he's had to lead, and that's important to me. And I want that for everyone.
Great message. Very powerful. Thank you for that. So, Michael, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your journey, your poetry, your inspiring message of transformation, connection, and becoming who we are meant to be. For our viewers interested in learning more about Michael Teferi and his poetry collections, Transformation, Connection, and Phenomenal, be sure to check out the links in the description box below. And if you enjoyed today's interview, please like, subscribe, and share this episode with fellow readers, writers, and poets, and anyone seeking inspiration on their personal journey. And as always, keep reading, keep growing, and we'll see you next time on Gimme 5 Book Reviews and Author Interviews. Michael, thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.